and that all of life continually evolves or changes into other, more advanced kinds of life.
Very best, like no one ever was. To catch them is my real test. To train them is my cause. I will travel across the land, searching far and wide. Each Pokemon to understand the power that's inside. Pokemon, gotta catch 'em all. It's you and me. I know it's my destiny. Pokemon, oh, you're my best friend in a world we must defend. Pokemon, gotta catch 'em all. A heart so true, our courage will pull us through. You teach me and I'll teach you. Pokemon.
For example, monkeys have changed into or evolved into men. This is what evolution says. Creationism, on the other hand, says that there is a God.
Thou shalt fear the Lord thy God, and serve him, and shalt swear by his name. Ye shall not go after other gods, of the people which are round about you. For the Lord thy God is a jealous God among you, lest the anger of the Lord thy God be kindled against thee, and destroy thee from off the face of the earth.
And that everything was designed by God on purpose, and that all of life was created and completed just as we see it today from the very beginning, just like the Bible says. Creationism says that there is no evolution or changing taking place that makes one kind of life, like a monkey, turn into another kind of life, like a man. Now think about this for just a moment. Let's just use common sense. If you were walking in the woods one day and came upon a watch lying on the ground, you picked it up and it was ticking, working perfectly and keeping perfect time. You might ask, how did that watch get there? Well, you would know that it was either placed there or dropped there. And you would also know that someone had to first make or design the watch, because a watch doesn't just make itself accidentally, nor does it wind up in the woods by itself, right? But what if someone told you that the watch got there because it used to be a rock, and then billions of years later it changed into a mushroom, and finally it turned into a perfectly working watch, keeping perfect time, and you just happened to find it laying there in the woods accidentally? Well, you would think this explanation of how the watch got here to be an awfully silly explanation, wouldn't you? As silly as it seems, this is how the idea of evolution tries to explain how man and all of the life and the created world that we see got here. They say it happened by accident over billions of years. It just happens to work perfectly, and no one created it, and no one designed it. It just happened. How silly. What if I told you another story? What if I told you that one day a tornado came out of the sky, and it ripped through a junkyard full of metal and old motors and wires and seats and windshields, and lo and behold, out of this big mess of a storm hitting a junkyard, a jet airplane emerged, by accident, able to work perfectly and fly gracefully through the air? Again, you would say, how silly. An airplane doesn't just happen by accident. It works too perfectly. It is too complicated. Someone has to design it, and work on it, and build it, and maintain it. But the idea of evolution says that all of life, every living thing that flies through the air, or swims in the water, or that walks on the land, everything we see with the eye or the microscope, the idea of evolution says that all of it got here accidentally, from a rock that exploded and then accidentally decided to form all of these living creatures over billions of years. Never mind that even a hummingbird is much more complicated than an airplane, much less all of the other forms of life. The idea of evolution says that the hummingbird and everything else all happened by accident, without God. Can you see how silly this idea of evolution really is?